Okay, so this is a question on an odd one out. So let's interpret the sentences first and then we'll figure out which sentence is an odd one out. So around that time, the controversy was brewing in Abu Dhabi over how to best manage the city's stray cat population, which seemed to be exploding like in many cities around the region, except for places like Dubai that cull their strays without flinching. Okay, so we know that this particular sentence talks about a public, okay, and then it talks about a kind of a stray cat population, okay, and then they are saying that the major issue and that time, so we need to look for that hint that is talking about that time concert type, okay, that how to best manage the city stray cat population which seem to be exploding, and whereas it also shows the contrast with the Dubai, right, so that they just cull their strays without flinching. Now, as if there were a pair of shoes, okay, the veterinarian, a gentle Australian woman added. So maybe at a first glance, it looks like as if this is adding the dimension to it. Okay, so veterinarian is kind of expressing, you can say, a shock, okay, or a contempt at someone's maybe a lot of casual or disposable attitude towards animals. Okay, so that's the case. Now they needed a 10-day medical regimen to cure the ringworm which they contracted at the local pet shop where they set on a display waiting to be purchased. Okay, so now this gets into maybe a very particular episode where some people, okay, they were diseased by the ringworm and they needed a 10-day medical regimen. Okay, so to I'm like likely to get out of this particular infection. Keep them, I will go buy new ones, the women told the veterinarian, who later narrated the incident to me with incredulity. Okay, now again we can see the women told the veterinarian reference. Okay, so keep them, I will go. So maybe this talks about kind of, let's see, okay, keep them kya hai. So their story begins before they came into my life when an Emirati woman abandoned them at the veterinarian office because they were diseased. Okay, so that is the case, and as if they were a pair of shoes, the veterinarian, okay, so they is kind of linked to it. So we can see this is looks like a manageable question. Okay, so the correct answer for this particular question is the one is an odd one out, right? Now, in case if we have to see the connect, the first definitely the sentence will be the sentence number 5, okay? Because it says that it opens up the scene, no, that animals were abandoned at the vet, okay, because they were diseased. So their story begins. We don't know throughout that who is this day, okay? The one thing that confuses you might be that you must be thinking that this day is actually refer to the stray cat population, but that is not the case, okay? So their stories begin before they came into my life, okay? When an Emirati woman abandoned them at the veterinarian's office because they were diseased. Okay, and now from that we can say that they needed a 10-day medical regimen to cure their ringworm, which they contracted at the local pet shop where they set display waiting to be purchased. Okay, and maybe after that we can say that 4 and 2 is also keep them. Okay, I will go buy new ones, or maybe it can be, let's say, their story begins before they came into my life when an Emirati woman abandoned them at the veterinarian's office because they were diseased. Okay, and then keep them, I will go buy new ones, the women told the veterinarian, okay, who later narrated the incident to me with incredulity. Okay, so as if there were the pair of shoes. Okay, the veterinarian, a gentle Australian woman, added they needed a 10-day medical regimen to cure their ringworm, which they contracted at the local pet shop where they set on display waiting to be purchased. Okay, so something like this: 5, 4, 2, 3, 5, 3, 4, 2, whatever be the sequence. Okay, but in short, we can say that. The 5 basically talks about that the animals were abandoned at the veterinarian because they were diseased. Okay, then again, in case if we talk about the sentence number 4, so it also tells you about the abandoning women exact words and notes that the veterinarian later told the narrator the story. Okay, so that's the case. And then again, they needed a 10-day medical regimen to cure this thing. So we can again connect because they were diseased. Okay, so क्या disease हो सकते हैं उनको कि they have to cure their ringworm. Okay, now as if they were a pair of shoes, the veterinarian. Okay, so keep them, जब उसने ये बोला कि keep them, I will go buy new ones, so as if they were a pair of shoes. So this is again, we can say that all the 4 sentences share the same characters. Maybe we can say that there are animals in it, there is an Emirati woman, there is a veterinarian, and there is a narrator, okay? And the broader theme that is being conveyed by all these sentences is the sense of abandonment, okay? That is because that they have been suffering from some sort of the diseases, okay? And the tone looks very personal, right? Now, one is an odd one out because the one sentence basically deals with around that time controversy was brewing, okay? Which time? Okay, कौन से time पे? Okay, controversy was brewing in Abu Dhabi over how to best manage this disease stray cat population, and which seemed to be exploding, like in many cities around the region, except for places like Dubai that cull their stays without flinching. Okay, so this is kind of a tone mismatch also. Okay, it looks like a more of an expository or an explanatory tone. Okay, and more when it deals about the regional stray cat policy. Okay, and culling. Okay, so that's not the kind of an anecdote or a personal anecdote about a specific animal's abandoned at a vet is being displayed. So that is the reason that the one is off and out. I hope you got this question.